It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Hello to all. Welcome to Divas That Care Network. I am Joyce Benning, and I will be your host for this absolutely magical, robust lifestyle show. I want to take a moment and thank each one of our listeners that have tuned in live today and the ones that will be listening to the recording on the podcast. I am so very grateful and thankful for each and every one of you. And you are all in for a magical show today, as I have with me my returning incredible diva, Chantel White. And her and I are going to chat about Resonant Life. Oh my, is this going to be one exciting show? So with that, Chantel, could you please introduce yourself to our listeners today?
Absolutely, Joyce. I'm so happy to be back with you and the crew. So I'm Chantel White. What should I say about myself? Well, I'm a certified equine Gestalt coach, but mostly, I'm somebody who has went through life, stumbled, got back up, stumbled, got back up, and kept on going. And, that's one of the stories I want to share today. And then just maybe what I've learned along the way, because there's so many great lessons in our falling, right? Yeah, go ahead, Joyce.
There are so many. There are so many lessons. I call them in our challenges. We learn so much through those challenges. It's just we come out a stronger person on the other side.
Yes.
And
I guess the blessing of it, isn't it?
Yes. Isn't that the truth? And especially as a woman, I think the women that are listening can really relate on the challenges that we go through and how we get through them and how we're stronger when we make it through them. So, yes. So I will let you just take off and just kind of start where you would like to, and I will follow in from there, and we will just share what we're guided to share from our spirits and angels today for our listeners to hear. So I'll let you take it over, Chantel.
Love it. So, it was interesting. You and I were talking a lot about one of my mottos is be brave, be true, be you, and how much it takes bravery to live from your heart and soul. And isn't it interesting? I think it's just so interesting now that I look back at my journey of why that seems like it's bravery when it's really how we're designed to live. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about, a piece of my life where I was living maybe against my heart and soul. Maybe I started on the right path, but kept in a situation for far too long. And so it started, I just remember the day that I left this note on a table. And it said, not one more second, one more minute, one more day will I put up with this. And it really took me 26 years to reach that breaking point. And I had to think back when I was thinking of this story of who was I before I got there. I, like many, not just women, but men, was born very sensitive. I would say I'm a sensitive soul. Some people say empath, a peacemaker. I was definitely born with a heart to serve and nurture, and I felt my role in this world was to help people heal. I still feel that, but in a different way, a more powerful way now. Throughout my childhood, I got really good at hiding what I sensed and felt and knew. Maybe some people can relate to that. And no one ever really talked about those things. I hid my gifts and who I was. I mastered being small and not rocking the boat. I knew exactly what to do to not have the focus on me. Life, after all, was about everyone else. Can you relate to that one, Joyce?
Oh, my goodness, girl. I'm getting tears in my eyes as you talk, because how true it is. We're hiding what we felt, and we mastered at being small and staying in the background all the time.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh wow.
I think
I'll just
relate to that for sure. Yeah. So I went into my marriage with all those ways of being in the world. I was pregnant at 19 with the first of my 3 children. And like every little good Catholic girl, you might laugh at this because, I was pregnant before marriage. So, maybe that's not like fully a good Catholic girl, but, I got it partway. Yeah. I became the perfect little caregiver. I think a lot of people can relate to that. If you start having children, you step into that caregiver role, and doing my best to ensure everyone else was in the family was happy. But I forgot myself on that list. And keeping the peace, I got even better at hiding me. I hid my feelings, thoughts, needs, and wants. After all, as a woman and a mother, I knew I was here to be self-sacrificing. Right?
Right.
There are a lot of people who relate to that one too, self-sacrificing. This is what we're taught to be. And in some ways, as we're raising children, yes, but not to the point of forgetting who we are and our own happiness and needs and wants and feelings. So this worked until it didn't, or you might even say it never did. But when my youngest son, I'll never forget that deep, deep feeling I got within myself. He went to school, and I started feeling this nudge, that like heart tug, that I was here to do something more. Like, can you relate to that one, Joyce? I know you're doing more in your life,
Oh, totally, to be more, and self-sacrificing and never serving ourselves. I refer to it sometimes as we never filled our own cup up. We were too busy trying to keep everybody else's full. Yes.
Absolutely. I think it's, most women can relate to this, but I think there's men too. I've met men that are like this too. So, it is a human conditioning that we have to work through in our life. And so what I started doing actually, Joyce, was I started, and I guess everybody who's listening or will listen later, is I started journaling on what I love. What do I love? And I did that every single day. And I loved horses. I mean, I was born loving horses. My mom can probably tell you about that. Like, it was just something deep within me that I loved. And I also loved helping people. And so through the search of stuff, I found the Equine Gestalt coaching program, and I took it. And fortunately, through that program, I started to heal. And the more I healed, I was supported to step into my gifts. And the more I felt alive, that feeling of feeling alive, like you're actually really stepping into who you are. This growing confidence, however, was not a welcome change in my home. The more I learned and grew, the more he would knock me down and make me small. Of course, he was used to me being that way, right? I loved him, and I did everything in my power to support every adventure he went on. He did the opposite. Every time I turned around, my efforts to build my business were challenged and sabotaged. Being the little helper healer that I am, I thought, well, maybe this is just a phase. Perhaps it was stress, anxiety, finances, a bad day, all the excuses I would come up with for him. I started feeling very deflated. I was confused. It was like my head was a basketball being spun. Every time I started to gain clarity, he would spin my head, and off it would go again. I couldn't make sense of anything anymore. I felt broken. I would even often fall to my knees, sobbing in tears from the weight of it all. I would look in the mirror, and I didn't recognize the woman staring back at me. I'm sure many people can relate to a point in their life when they look in the mirror and they're like, who is this person anymore? Where is my spark? Where am I in this situation? My explaining away all the things that were going on behind closed doors went longer than I'd like to admit. All I knew, it was like living with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. When we were out in public, he was the nicest guy. He even spoke of how proud he was of me and showed outward support. It was a whole different story when we got home. I just remember he would tell me daily he didn't like me and that I was never going to make it. and nobody needed what I was offering. He cut me off financially and told me to fill my boots. I would sigh a deep sense of relief when he would walk out the door, only to feel the panic when he came back at the end of the day. I had many wake-up calls along the way, and I brushed them off. I remember the day as though it was yesterday, though. He did his typical move that day. He said I was crazy. I made him crazy, and he wasn't sure who the crazy one was. Well, neither did I at that point. He said it was over. He walked out the door. I went down to the office, in my office, and I sat sobbing. This was a little corner that I used to go to often. That's also where I read The Course in Miracles, one of, I think, the books that changed my life. And I didn't move for hours that day. And eventually, still in my pajamas, I grabbed a small bag. I don't even remember what I threw in it, but I definitely took my dog with me. And before I walked out, I left that note that I told you about, the one that I said, not one more second, one more minute, one more day will I put up with this. Of course, I can make him the villain here. I had a lot to work through. But through going through that, what I would call hell in my life, it gave me the strength and courage to live a life of truth and resonance. And that's what I wanted to talk to everybody about today, is like living in resonance with your heart and your soul. We're so taught to do the opposite, to do what we're supposed to as humans, instead of what we're designed to. So today, I'm living on a beautiful acreage with horses and a dog. I'm surrounded by nature. I'm doing what I love most days, not all days. There's still life that gets in the way sometimes, that we have to take care of. I'm surrounded by an amazing circle of people who love me. And most importantly, I'm true to myself. And that's a big one that I really want to support people in, because you can't live a life of resonance when you're not true to yourself. And it takes a long time to figure that one out, doesn't it, Joyce?
Yes.
Yeah.
So how many years it does, and how many challenges, and yes, I hear you completely. It takes a lot of time to be true to yourself, and living from your heart. I mean, my horses have had a major role in helping me to learn that, because my horses have told me to live from your heart. And it is just beautiful, and that power is in the present moment and live in it. And I'm like, my one horse just told me that the other day, and I'm like, oh my goodness, how true that is. So, I just totally hear you, because it just is what so many, I feel, us women deal with, and some men too. But I can really relate to how the women deal with it by being small and not living true to ourselves, because we're too busy taking care of everyone else to realize what ourself is needing and how much more we have to offer the world if we take care of ourselves first.
Yeah, absolutely. We're taught differently and then told something else. Like we're taught when we're growing up to play small and not voice our feelings and our thoughts and our opinions, and, worry more about what other people think. And then yet there's also these voices out in the world, and in particular more now than ever, which is great, telling us to put our mask on first. And it can be really confusing when, you're brought up in a way that says, oh, no, like that's selfish, right? I think that's one of the biggest things that gets in people's way. Like when I've been working with people, is that idea of being selfish if they take care of their own needs and happiness. And yet, I almost think it's the opposite, because when you don't do that, you're not really, for one, the people who are with you are not getting the fullness of who you are, and you're actually putting the responsibility on their shoulders to make you happy, because you think it's your job to make them happy, right? And so in some way, the belief is then it's theirs to make you. And yet, if we could all just really celebrate and take care of ourselves, then look how much more fully we can actually give in the world.
Oh, how true it is. And how true that is. Happiness comes from within. Looking for it somewhere out there, you'll look for a lifetime trying to find it.
Absolutely. I think that's what it comes down to, right? You know, we talk a lot about love versus fear, and fear has us looking outside of ourselves instead of tuning into our heart and our soul for our direction and what we're supposed to be doing. You know, so what I've learned a lot, you know, on my journey thus far, you know, I'm sure there's more lessons that will come, but I'm willing to learn them through more joy, I think, these days than pain, you know. But I think there's a lot of lessons that I learned. One is that if we're according to the thoughts and ideas of others, then we're really not tuning into our heart and soul. We're looking outside of ourselves, right? There's other ways we do that. We stuff our truth. We hang out with the wrong people. I can share many stories of that one. Yeah, you know, and we just start living a life according to everybody else's rules, and what society wants of us instead of what we think we should be doing. And really, we're here to follow our intuition and our soul and our heart. So, you know, there's a lot of things that get in our way when we're trying to do that. And one is, you know, trying to hang on to the past or the people. Like, have you had times, Joyce, in your life where you're like, yeah, I really want to step into who I am. I really want to get big, but then I might lose somebody.
Yeah. Oh, how true that is. How true that is. And it's kind of like through a horse reading, I was told, release them with love and let them go. Because, I mean, if they're not serving you for who you are meant to be from the heart, then you don't have to release it with anger. Just release it with love and let it go. Absolutely. That was such good advice coming from him.
Yes, yeah. You know, I think that's the amazing thing. Like, you've talked a lot about horses, and of course, I love the work I do with horses. I also do Akashic Records. I think I told you about that. But I think it is really relatable because horses tune us back into who we are and connect us to our heart and to love, you know, to the love versus fear thing that is taught in so many books, right? And so if we can move in life with more love, and that starts with, okay, like, what would love do for me? I remember asking that question, and that's what finally had me end my marriage. Is like, is this love? Is it? And is this loving for me? Like, what would love do? I know it sounds like a very ethereal question, but what would love do here? And you think of, like, you know, I've been blessed enough to have a mom that taught me, you know, love and support. And so, like, you could even tune into the people that who have shown you. Maybe some people don't have that. You know, I know I've worked with a lot of clients, they haven't had that in their life. But if you really thought about what love would do for you, then the answer is easy. And then you can release people in love, because, you know, when we start talking about resonance, you're not meant to hold on to people, and they're not meant to hold on to you out of fear. We're meant to come together in love, right?
Right.
And so, you know, when you make all your decisions in life based on that and based in your heart, then it becomes a lot easier. I think we just get so caught up in our heads. That's one thing I've noticed a lot in people over the years, especially the last few years, because fear has become so rampant in our society, that people are really, really stuck in their heads and trying to logic their way through everything in life. And yes, we do need our logic for sure, yet our heart has so much more knowledge and wisdom. And if we can really tune into that, then we are moving from a place of our soul. And to me, that's to me, because I believe in the soul, that's what we're here to do. We're designed to follow that lightness, right? Not the heaviness. And so what I mean about that is a lot of when I go to make decisions, like, does this decision feel light or does it feel heavy? You know, and that means trusting yourself and tuning into your body, which so often we're looking, again, like you said, Joyce, outside of ourselves for the answer. But if we go within, it does come back to creating a life that is true for you. It doesn't have to be for everybody else, right?
Right. Oh, how true that is. It just brings up what my mayor told me this morning. She says power lies within. She knew what we were going to talk about today. And I'm like, wow.
I know. If everybody could just go to horses, right? Then we'd be just like, better off. But yeah, I guess if you don't have a horse, you can go to your body, and so many people don't trust their body because we've been taught not to trust our feelings, right? Or to shove them down.
Right.
But yeah, the power lies within. I love that message.
Thank you. I did too. I'm like, oh my goodness. When you just said that, I thought, oh, that's just what she said this morning. And it's just so true, because if you just listen to that small voice inside of you, I always say when you live from your heart, it's the small voice that you hear. It's not the shouting voice that your mind can be. It's that small voice. And when you can shut that loud mind voice down and listen on the inside what your heart is saying, because I had one of my angels, spirits, guides, whatever you want to call them, said, live from your heart, because your heart never lies. And
oh, I love that.
I'm like, oh, how true that is. And our mind is so busy going with what the world is saying that we don't know whether it's a lie or a truth half the time.
Oh, goodness, isn't that the truth? And it's interesting how the word truth keeps coming in our conversation, right? Because really that is the resonance. If we really step into our truth, and sometimes, our personal truth changes, but our heart and soul's truth, really, the deep light within us never changes. That is our truth. And if we are learning to follow that, despite all the loud noises in the world and in our head, like I've been doing that, practicing that. Am I 100% on that? No. But the days that I am, I feel so alive. And I think that's a good measure for people. If you're starting to feel alive, you're starting to feel more happy, that means that you're really starting to tune into your heart and move in the way that you need to, versus all those shoulds that go on in your head.
Yes. Oh, how true that is. When you can tune into your heart, it becomes so much more of a beautiful world when you tune into your heart rather than your busy mind, is how I feel.
No kidding. I've actually been laughing at myself lately, Joyce, because, probably most people are. We're on our journey, our whole life, right? But I've been peeling away the layers of conditioning for a very long time, and I think it is a lifetime thing, It's still getting rid of all those things that we either come in with as a soul to get rid of, or that we learn as a child to dispel, lots of lies, right? We talk about truth, but there's lots of lies that we end up living. And I just think for myself, one of the things that I'm laughing at now is because I'm highly sensitive, that my temperament is feeling. It's all about feeling. It's not about logic. And yet I got into being so logical, which is not aligned with who I am at all. And now that I'm paying more attention to how things feel and how people feel and how it feels to do certain things, life is amazing.
Yeah.
And I laugh because I'm like, why did it take me so long to figure this out? Like, why does it take us so long? I guess it just takes as long as it takes, right?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I always kind of look at it, there's a lot of stepping stones to get us to where we are today. And some of those stones are pretty hard to step over, and some of them are pretty easy. But there's a lot of stepping stones to life that'll bring us to the point where we are, where you can live from your heart and see where all that amazing beauty that lies within inside of you and the power is. So that's kind of how I look at it too. So, and Chantel, I knew this show would go so very quickly. You have so much to share, full of things I would like to do before we close this show. I would like to ask you, would you please return to Robust Lifestyles and share more of your journey and more of helping others to become, be brave, be true, and be you? I would love to have you back on Robust Lifestyles.
I would love to come back. I always enjoy hanging out with you, so absolutely.
Oh, awesome. I love it. I love it. And then before we do close, could you please share with our listeners the best ways that they can connect with you when they hear this show and say, oh my, she's so many things she said, I need to go into more discussion with Chantel. Would you please share how they may connect with you?
Sure. Well, my website is equine. That's horse, EQUINE, and then reflection at .com, or you can email me, Chantel, so CHANTEL at equine, EQUINE, reflection.com.
Oh, perfect. Great ways to connect with you, Chantel.
Yeah. I offer, some complimentary 30-minute Akashics, which is really fun. Really, it tunes you into the truth, just like the horses, which is amazing. The more we can live aligned with truth, the better, right? So,
right.
Yeah, if anybody's interested in that, reach out. We can book a time.
Oh, I love it. Oh, listeners, you've heard. You can reach out to her and book a time with Chantel and tap into more of the beautiful information that lies inside of her and what she's sharing from her heart. So, Chantel, I want to thank you so much, and I want to wish you a magical day, and may magic fill all your days till you're back on Robust Lifestyle again.
Absolutely. You have a great one too, Joyce, and enjoy those horses. I love that you're getting so many wonderful messages from them.
Oh, thank you. I enjoy them every moment. They're just magical in my life. I call them my magical horses, and they truly are.
Are magic. If anybody has a chance to connect with a horse in that way, they definitely are magical for sure.
Yes, they are. The magic just continues. I love it.
I do. Thanks, Joyce.
You are so welcome, Chantel. And with that, I want to thank all of our listeners for listening to this absolutely magical show with our incredible diva, Chantel White. Please share this show with all your family and friends and touch their hearts in the way it has touched yours. Be sure to check out all the other hosts and their shows on divasthatcare.com. And remember, just a few of the golden nuggets that Chantel left with you. Follow your intuition, your soul, and your heart. Move in life more with love. Be brave, be true, be you, and be true to yourself. And what would love do for you? Oh my, there's so many golden nuggets, but those are just a few. And with that, I want to wish everyone a magical day. Remember, be kind to all Give your animals that great big extra hug and share all your love with them as they so deserve it. And until we connect again on Robust Lifestyles, stay strong and healthy.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.